So people obviously had a question. If Bridget was denying that she killed her husband, how come she was able to take to the police? She was able to take the police to a place where the gun was. How come she was able to indicate to the police where the gun was, and the gun was recovered from there? So that probably sent signals to everyone that she had done it and she had hidden the gun in that place. That's why she was able to take the police to the place, and they were able to recover the murder weapon. Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Yeah, it's been a long time. So like I said, I actually moved to a new city, not just a new city, but a new province altogether. So getting settled was quite a hassle, but yeah, I am settled now, and not totally settled, but I think I'm now in a space in terms of my mind to actually do recordings and just to give you guys a bit of content. The other reason I wasn't so keen to get back on the horse right after I moved to the new city is because I don't get much feedback from you guys. So I just thought, maybe you don't really like what I do. So I wasn't so keen. I wasn't like excited to produce content. But today, I got feedback from a certain lady, and yeah, she did encourage me by what she said. So here I am. Here we are. Feedback is very important, guys. I know you think it's nothing, but trust me, it is important. It's the only way a person can know if they're doing the right thing or if they're doing the wrong thing, if whatever they are putting out there is relevant to you or not relevant. So please do give feedback all the time. Okay? Enough rambling. So in today's story, we are going to go back to Zimbabwe. And in Zimbabwe, we are specifically in Harare, in the suburb of Strathaven. Strathaven is in Harare West, I think. Yeah, around Avondale area, somewhere there. That would make it Harare West, I suppose. So what happened is the residents of Strathaven woke up to a murder in their own backyard. So who had died? A businessman, a father, a husband, a polygamist by the name of MacCloud Mapanga. Mapanga. I think that's the name. I will definitely write down the name here. And he was murdered, and people suspected that his wife had done it. But why would a wife kill her own husband? Like, that doesn't make sense at all. That doesn't make much sense. And why would people suspect her of all people? Isn't that a bit cruel? Like, this is a widow who's mourning a husband, and the next thing you're charging her with murder. Like, who does that? But anyway, this lady actually had to go through it all, and the name is Bridget Makaza. So Bridget Makaza, from what we know, she was actually a nurse in the UK. She was based in the UK. So she took some time off from her work to go to Zim to visit her husband. The husband was a businessman. He was a transport, he was into transport. Apparently he had buses. And yeah, so when she got home, the husband is said to have suggested or hinted that he was about to marry another wife. Bridget didn't like that. That didn't go down well with Bridget. These are all allegations, remember? So it is alleged that one night, while the husband was sleeping, Bridget took a gun out of a headboard and shot her husband 3 times in the neck, and he died on the spot. After that, she is alleged to have raised alarm and screamed and called out the neighbors that there's been a robbery, an attempted robbery. There's been a break-in into a house. And the robbers had shot her husband. So the neighbors came in. This is like 3 a.m. in May of 2018. So the neighbors come in and they are trying to salvage the situation as well as to investigate what went on, what went down, who did what. While they were doing that, Bridget is said to have snuck out of the house, drove to Mukovisi River. So which way is Mukovisi River again, and which one is Mukovisi River? I need to, because I thought Mukovisi was like in the east. Oh, I'm thinking Mukovisi Woodlands. I don't know. But anyway, she said to have gone to Mukovisi River, where she threw the gun in some reeds just by the riverside. She threw the gun. Probably she was intending to throw it into the river, but probably she didn't throw hard enough and it didn't reach the water. It ended up landing around the reeds. And from there, she went straight to the police station to make a report that there had been an attempted robbery in her house, but the robbers had actually shot her husband. Okay? After she made a report, she went back home. She called her employers back in the UK and informed them that her husband had just died in an attempted robbery incident, and she needed more time to arrange for the burial and just to mourn her husband before she could come back to work. The employer is said to have said, that's okay, we'll give you 2 more weeks. So you can actually extend your stay by 2 more weeks, because this is a difficult time. Like, this is a widow, guys. So she needed the time, right? Right. So she stays behind. But what then happened? What then followed? Bridget got arrested. And she was charged with the murder of her own husband. Why? So they, according to family members, according to people who knew the couple, Bridget's husband had actually said he intended to marry another wife. Yeah, that could get you killed. Okay, so what is actually weird about the whole thing is the husband was said to have been killed around 3 a.m. The police only arrived around 9 a.m. and the first people to be taken to the police station were taken around noon. So this was like the domestic helpers as well as a young brother to Mapanga, the deceased. That is Bridget's husband. So these were taken in by the police, and they obviously took their statements and they let them go. But at 6 p.m., Bridget was arrested. So it is suspected that probably these people that went in before her pointed the police towards her. And then, yeah, so she was arrested and she was charged with the murder of her own husband. Okay? But here is what is mind-boggling. Bridget denied killing her husband. She said she had no reason to kill him. It was actually an attempted robbery that had gone wrong. But one, there were no indications of forced entry at the house. Number two, Bridget was able to take the police officers to where the gun was, the murder weapon. She was able to take them to the place where the gun was. What does that even say? What does that even mean? So asked why she was able to take the police officers to where the gun was, she actually says no, she didn't do it. She didn't take the police officers there, but rather when she was arrested, she was beaten up by the police with metal bars. She was tortured basically. So when she was tortured, she ended up just saying things. But does that include knowing where the gun is? Knowing where the murder weapon is? I don't know. But anyway, so Bridget went to court for the first time. She went and she appeared before the courts, and she was advised to apply for bail. She applied for bail. She was denied the first time, and she actually applied again because then she was arguing that there was no evidence linking her to this murder. There was nothing. It was all circumstantial. So eventually she was given bail. She was released on bail. She was made to pay $100. She was made to surrender her passport. She was made to report to the police station 3 times a week. Right. This all happened in June of 2018. One day in October of 2018, Bridget, boom, went missing. She vanished. She vanished. Oh, before we even talk about her vanishing, let's talk about the bail application. So when she was going to court to appear for the bail application and also trying to request a trial date, like waiting for the courts to give her the trial date, there were photos that were posted of her and her lawyers coming out of the courtroom and going into the courtroom. Those photos made the rounds. What I find weird is people actually were more concerned about her and not the crime or what she was being accused of. If you look at the comments of one article that actually said that she had been denied bail, the people that commented on that article were more concerned about her, not about the accusations that she was facing, not about the charge that she was facing. People commented things like, she doesn't look 34. Somebody says she looks 43, or there was a typo. It's actually supposed to be 43, not 34. And somebody actually commented that she looked 60. Somebody said that the person who was commenting was 40ish, but she looked way, way younger than Bridget. And some people said, well, it's because arikujika achiguta. So, and I don't even know if these photos that were posted of her looking bulky and all, okay, plus size. I think bulky is rude. She was looking big. I don't know if it was the angle of the camera or if it was how she had grown, because the photos that are on her social media platform before those days, she looked smaller. So I'm still trying to understand whether it was the camera that distorted her looks or it was actually that she had actually changed. You know, I actually had people commenting things like, yeah, akajkisa, ukajkisa unorutsa, or kuzvimbirwa, don't overeat fish. People commenting things like, so you come all the way from the UK to kill an innocent polygamist. This is a lesson to women, kana zvaramba, don't force. And somebody actually said, mukadzi uyo, no man, regai murume atore third wife, sure. The other thing is this man was just a polygamist already. And Bridget was not wife number 1. So I'm not sure what wife number she was, because some sources said she was wife number 2, others said she was wife number 3. Others even said she was wife number 7. But she wouldn't let him get another wife, okay? Kuita kunge mbuya neniwo ndashamisika. Ha. Chisaga chedumbu. So like I was like taken aback a bit, like the things that we are concerned about at this point where somebody is being charged with murder, when somebody is just lost their life and we are only worried about how somebody is looking. Like, is that where we are as a nation? Is that how low we have sunk as a nation? But I also found some very interesting conversations that happened there. There seemed to be some people who actually have some knowledge of the law in their heads. Okay, so somebody actually wrote, she has a good chance of acquittal. No direct evidence against her. The circumstantial evidence will not amount to proof beyond a reasonable doubt, which is the standard in common law jurisdictions. My prediction, she will be found not guilty if trial even proceeds beyond the state's case. In other words, I don't think she will even be put to her defense. Okay? So somebody actually thought, no, there was no case. And to that, somebody responded, murder cases in Zim take notoriously long to complete, especially when a complaint pleads not guilty. But the question is, if armed robbers shot him in Strathaven, how did she know where the gun was in the Mukubisi River? She took the police there to recover the gun. Let's see what happens. So that is like the thorny issue in this whole thing, that people say she took the police there, but she says she didn't do it. But according to the police records, she took them there. And she is the one who made the indications. So anyway, let's go back to October of 2018. People woke up. Bridget was supposed to go to court for a routine remand. Bridget was no show. One, Bridget was supposed to go to a police station to report for a routine reporting. Bridget, no show. Then, Bridget's sister called her lawyer and told her that she could not find Bridget. So the courts had no choice but to issue a warrant of arrest on her. So now she was being hunted left, right, and center. Left, right, center. Or maybe she's still being hunted. Because to date, there hasn't been any indications of where Bridget might be. There's only rumors that she could have left the country. She could have left Zimbabwe. But she cannot go back to the UK. She cannot go back to the UK because you know why? Her employers then got wind of what happened. They got wind of the charges that she was facing. They even applied to the board that governs nurses and doctors and midwives in the UK to have her discharged on the grounds that she was facing a serious charge and now she was running away from the law. So the first time they actually requested that her license gets suspended because she was facing a serious charge. Okay, but after she then went missing, the last information that I got was actually published on the 21st of April 2021, where the board that governs nurses, midwives, and blah 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 in the UK actually made a decision to discharge her, to cancel her license totally, that she may never ever practice. So the board is called okay, so it's actually, they applied to the High Court, okay, of Queen's in the High Court of Justice, Queen's Bench Division, Administrative Court, Royal Court of Justice. So this is where this thing was being done. So the case is actually between Nursing and Midwifery Council claimant and Bridget Makaza, defendant. Okay, Bridget Makaza was actually the defendant. So the council was applying that she loses her license and she should be struck off their list or their register. And they cited all these things, that she was facing serious charges and she's run away from the law and then nobody knows where she is. So there was no need for her to remain on the register. And also, there was an argument that, but she hasn't been served because nobody knows where she is. Nobody knows her whereabouts. So she was not served with the notices when she was being told that she needs to appear before a hearing. But how can you appear before a hearing when you're on the run? You can't, right? So anyway, she couldn't appear before the hearing. But yeah, she has been struck off the register. She's been struck off whatever it is. She basically cannot practice anymore. I think that's the long and short of it. That is Bridget Makaza, 34, of 56 Kenworth, Coventry in the UK. That was her official address in the UK. And when she was in Zimbabwe, she was staying in Strathaven. But now, her whereabouts are unknown. The last time I actually saw some posts concerning this story on Facebook, there are people that appear to be family that made comments like, please, people, help us to locate this woman so that she can face the music for what she did to her uncle. And somebody commented that uncle was not supposed to go this way. He was a good man. So that's probably family members, right? So basically, the long and short is Bridget is missing. Bridget has not been able to come before the courts to prove a case or to plead a case or to prove her innocence. Now that actually kind of leaves you wondering, like, if indeed she was innocent, why run away? One. Two, maybe Bridget actually ran away because she realized that there was just too much evidence against her, as much as she knew she had not done anything. The truth doesn't always set you free, you know? The truth doesn't always set you free. And you know, when a murder case happens, people normally want justice, or they probably just want somebody to pay. They just want somebody to pay. So maybe she was scared that she would end up being sacrificed for something that she didn't do. So she decided, maybe let me just run away and let the dust settle. This is 2022. The dust is not settled. No, the dust is not settled because people that lost a relative will continue to talk, they'll continue to nag, they'll continue to look for her. And wherever she is, I'm sure she's not comfortable. She doesn't feel safe. She feels like she's being watched. She feels like she needs to always be on the lookout, like looking over her shoulders all the time. So what do you guys think? Do you actually think Bridget indeed killed her husband? Just for the simple reason that he wanted to marry another wife? Or maybe there was more than what is being said. Or maybe there was a fight. But it is said that he was killed while he was sleeping on the couch. Now my question is, at 3 a.m., what was he doing sleeping on the couch? Or did I not read correctly that he was sleeping on the couch? Even if he was sleeping in the bed, okay? At 3 a.m., what could have happened before? Now, I actually don't like, domestic violence. It's a very sensitive subject. But I'm also wondering, what could have triggered her if indeed she killed him? What could have triggered her? Could it just be an issue of adding another mouth, another wife? Or there was more? The other problem is the husband is not there to speak for himself what actually happened, and to speak for himself, to tell us his side. That's the sad thing. That's the sad thing that happens when people decide to pull guns on each other. There's nobody to actually verify what you are saying or to collaborate her story. It's just her story. The victim is not there anymore. Maybe if he had survived, he would be able to tell us that this is what happened. But now it's just her. And the victim doesn't seem to be speaking from the grave. I actually believe that sometimes some victims do speak from their graves. But in this incident, I didn't read anyway where probably he could be speaking from the grave. So yeah, that's basically the story about Bridget. So Bridget, I don't know what happened. I honestly don't know what happened. You know what happened. You know your truth. And whatever decisions you made, I'm sure you knew what was good for you as an adult. But all I can say is, guys, stay away from crime. If you do crime, you are most likely to do the time. Most likely. If you don't do it inside, you probably do it outside. You become a prisoner. You become a prisoner even if you're not in a prison. I hope wherever she is, she's safe and her conscience is clear. Yeah? I hope her conscience is clear. Anyway, guys, so that's a story about Bridget Makaza and her husband who is alleged to have killed her husband Mapanga, a business man, a transporter, and this is said to have happened in Harare in the year 2018, and up to now, she's missing. Nobody knows where she is. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate your comments. Like I said before, I totally do appreciate your comments. Please do comment below. What do you think? Where do you think Bridget is? Do you think Bridget killed her husband? Do you think it's possible that there was actually an attempted robbery? Do you think it's actually possible that Bridget confessed certain things because she had been tortured into it? Do you think Bridget could be still alive somewhere, or maybe she died somewhere? Now it's actually scary to even think about it because nobody seems to know where she is. She just vanished. So is it possible that she actually probably died somewhere? She didn't run away, or maybe she killed herself? I don't know. What do you guys think? Please do comment down below. Tell me your thoughts. Let's keep the conversation going. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe. There is COVID out there. I hope you are protecting yourselves and your families. Do what you need to do to keep safe. Do what you need to do to keep your families safe. God bless you all. Goodbye.